Hey guys, Foreverretro 82 here. Just want to make a quick disclaimer before this video begins. None of these games are bad, they're just some of my least favorites of the series. And we're going to be covering at least my personal opinions and feelings on the recently released Castlevania Anniversary Collection for all major platforms. It's on sale for $20 and it's a pretty good bargain, but I'm going to show off my 4 least favorites, and then later on we'll be showing off my 4 favorites of the collection. No Metroidvania games will be shown in this video. It's just strictly the games in this collection, and I'll be giving my thoughts and feelings and take on the whole shebang of what I show off here. Alright, so the first game off the bat that is probably one of my least favorite games in the series because of its speed, and that's Castlevania the Adventure. Now, Castlevania the Adventure was released in 1989 by Konami, and it's got great music. It has some really nifty secrets that if you keep your eye open or explore a little bit, you can find them. But I still think the speed kills the game, and the length of the game is also pretty disappointing. For instance, there's only 4 stages, and the reason why they take so long to defeat is because of the way you move in the game. It's extremely slow. I mean, especially when you get to stage 3, then that whole slowness of the game becomes apparent to the point of ripping your fucking hair out. There's a lot of platforms and ropes and things that you have to jump and time, and it's really just not fun. Because Castlevania games should be fun, and unfortunately, Castlevania the Adventure is not all that fun. But I mean, it's because of the speed. If the game was sped up a little bit, then it would be one of my favorites. But there is a ROM that actually fixes that. It's called the Graphical Enhancement hack. It fixes the speed, and it also updates some sprites on certain power-ups in the game, which I think is to be a nifty addition and really cool. Makes the game a little bit more enjoyable than the original vanilla game, and I think it's not worth your time, at least to some extent, because it's just not that good of a game. And it's the one I come back to least. I've beaten maybe 5 times in my life, and I don't know if I'm going to be playing it again. And that's a real sad shame too, because I do enjoy Castlevania, and this game does have the charm of Castlevania. Just the gameplay sucks dick, and it's awful. But you gotta have a start somewhere, I guess. And for its first foray in the series on the Game Boy, it's not that bad. It really isn't. But that slowness just kills it for me. Like I said, your mileage may completely vary, but that's my take on that, unfortunately. I think if the game was a little faster, and maybe a couple more levels, like instead of 4, 6, or even 5, an extra level would have been nice. I think the game would have been much more enjoyable. But the smearing effect on the Game Boy is what made it is why the game is so slow. As far as I know, that's what I heard. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I'm pretty sure the reasoning behind that was. But then the sequel fixes some of those problems, which we'll be talking about in my other video. Alright, next on the list, Castlevania. I know, I can already see the fucking pitchforks and flames coming in my direction, but let me explain some things, okay? Castlevania is a great game. It is, but it's not in any way one of my favorites, and the reason for that is because of the cheap damn deaths you got in every damn corner of the game. The movement is stiff, the deaths are cheap, it's challenging, but it's not fair challenge. It's cheap, quick deaths to keep you coming back for more and for more, and a lot of gamers like that. Some of us don't like that. I mean, the older I get, I don't want to deal with this shit, you know what I'm saying? But I do anyways. I mean, I've beaten this game many times. Okay, so this is a game that I go to many times, because once in a while I want that challenge just to see if I still have it. Sometimes I enjoy it, other times I don't. To me, the game breaker is stage 6, where you fight, or was it stage 7? Fuck me, you know what? That game is like, the levels don't make sense. I'm just going to say stage 6. It's where you fight the Grim Reaper, okay? I don't have that captured, unfortunately. I just wanted to show off some gameplay, just so some of you that, you know, may or may have not played Castlevania, I wanted to make sure I could show this video, show you the gameplay, so you can get maybe an idea of what it's like. I mean, as I said, it's a classic in its own right. It's got great music. It's got tight control. It's just really fucking stiff, and to me, that I don't like that. I mean, it's part of the classic Vanias, and it has its charm because it's the first of its kind, and it was basically a satire of classic horror movie monsters and things, and it did it well. It did. But the fucking bats, the Medusa heads, the goddamn enemies have a level up on you. They have more priority in their attack than you do. Sometimes you just have to take that bone hit. You have to take that Medusa head. You just basically have to take it like a bitch. They made Simon to a little fucking bitch, and that's what pisses me off about the game. And not only that, he's like a fucking pile of bricks. He's stiff as fuck. He falls down. He falls down and just goes, done. Game over. Most of the time. And you're going to keep coming back because you want to beat this game, because you don't want it to beat you. You know, these games are designed to beat you, to give you plenty of challenge, to fuck you all over and mess you up. But let me tell you something. There's only so much you can take it before you're just like, fuck this, and there goes the controller against the wall, against the floor, punching it, whatever it is you have to do to get that frustration out, because it is frustrating. I mean, I used to throw my controllers and smash them just like everybody else did, but I noticed that controllers cost a good amount of money, especially these days. So what I like to do now is just I try to take a deep breath, put the controller down, power off, do something else, or play something that's not going to piss me off that bad. And Castlevania has definitely made my blood pressure go through the goddamn roof more times than I can count. That's my only reason why I have to put it on my least favorite Castlevanias on this list. It's classic. It should be enjoyed. But in my absolute heart of hearts and opinions of opinions, this game can go fuck off in terms of its difficulty and the way that the enemies can attack you and you can't do shit about it unless you have an axe. Because there's too many times the fucking little bone fuckers on the top, I can't think of their names, skeleton warriors, whatever, they throw fucking bones at you, hit you, and you get knocked into a pit. I mean, this happens in a lot of games of its type. Ninja Gaiden is a perfect example of that. And I hate that game too. But I enjoy it once in a while just to see if I still got the skill to beat it. And I've done it many times. And I've even done it for some friends who were amazed on how fast I can go through that game. It's like, I hate it. It's a love-hate thing. And that's what I have with Castlevania. Anyways, I don't know, there's a lot of trucks, so I apologize for the sounds in the background. But yeah, that's my feelings on Castlevania. Not a horrible game by any means of the mind or imagination. It just doesn't make me very happy as a gamer to play through that game and go through the struggles, especially with stages 5 and 6. Alright, this game should have no introduction. AVGN's talked about it. Many gamers of their type talked about it. Basically, this game is a divided mess between lovers and haters. It's Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Okay, now, like I said, once again, I have to stress this because I know a lot of you are going to come at me with fucking torches and beat the shit out of me with baseball bats with nails attached to them. I don't hate Castlevania 2, but I do feel it has a lot of problems. Problems to the point where I didn't even capture much footage for the game. Because when I put my hands around the controller and was playing again, I'm like, It's that kind of game. Like Street Fighter 1, same thing. You pick up the game and you play it, and you don't want to play it anymore. You just want to put it down and say, no, there's better shit I can play. Fuck this game. That's kind of how I feel about Castlevania 2. It's just the stiffness of the controls once more is shit in these goddamn fucking cryptic hints that the people give you in the game. They're hardly of any help. There are some, don't get me wrong. Like the first guy in the fucking game says, hey, get a white crystal. Yeah, that's a hint. That's a hint. Where do you get the crystal? Well, that's the whole adventure aspect of the Nintendo games of that era. Of games from that era. You had to go find this shit yourself, or you had to look up a guide, or not look up a guide, I'm sorry, buy a guide, or, of course, have a Nintendo Power in your hand. If you have that, then you can get somewhere. But Jesus Christ, this game is filled with problems. There's fucking spelling errors. See, I'm even talking English right now. There's spelling errors all over the place. They're like fucking possess Dracula's rib. I mean, come on, guys. Did you not proofread this shit? You can tell they didn't care about the Western release of this game. They didn't, because if they did, they probably would have spent more time making it a proper translation. And thankfully, fans have made one. Unfortunately, I don't know where I put the program. I was going to show you guys it, but it's called Redacted, I believe. It's on romhacking.net. It's a patch. You patch, and I guess there's like different versions of Redacted of what things you would like better. Not only in, okay, and so that's awesome, you know, but I don't know. I'm so burned out from Castlevania 2 because I actually beat this game twice in my life. I never got the good ending because it's just a grind fuck. I didn't explain that either. The game is a grindy piece of fucking garbage. You gotta fucking go through every goddamn part of the game, collect as many hearts as you can, so you can get the whips that you need. You need like a chain whip. You can get a thorn whip, and then finally you gotta get the flame whip, and that's the strongest one in the game. You know, but then there's all these cryptic hints about giving garlic to the goddamn ferryman. Ferryman. Gosh, I can't. Yeah, see, the game's English got my mind so broken up I can't even explain the shit. There is so much crypticness, and there are a couple bosses in the game. There's fucking Death, who is like easily beaten. You get to sit there and just whip the shit out of him, and he's like little to no challenge at all. This is not a proper sequel to a fantastic game, or is a fantastic game in its own right. I don't understand why they did this. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, I like the fact that it took the Zelda 2. You know, I don't know what came out first. I want to say Castlevania 2, but I haven't really looked at the release date, so I might be wrong. But I'm kind of glad it took that route because it just gave the adventure aspect that makes the game a lot more enjoyable. You know, but with Castlevania 2, I mean, a lot of people love the game, and I get it. I do. I love that adventure aspect. It's great. It's just done in a way that does not feel right in the hands. It's stiff, once again, and there's too much cryptic nonsense in the game. And not only that, the nighttime takes far much too long, and that song, Monster Dance, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to punch and break something. Because fuck that song. It's a piece of garbage. I just want to hit my head against something right now because I fucking hate that song. I'd rather hear Bloody Tears. Why can't we just have Bloody Tears play out the majority of the game? I'd like that. The controls work fine though, just like they did in Castlevania 1. The music is great. I love them. I love every tune from Castlevania 2. From the first town music you hear to the ending credits. It's absolutely fantastic in terms of music composition. Unfortunately, that's the only thing I like about Castlevania 2. But it's still a part of classics. There's, like I said, people love it, people hate it, people are indifferent to it. You know, but that's the beauty of life, is opinions and creations and things that we enjoy that we can, you know, see for ourselves. So, you know, if you haven't played Castlevania 2, beware. That's all I'm going to say is beware. That's all. It's going to not make any fucking sense. Unless you have that hack, which also has a map in-game, by the way. It's the same map, I think, from the instruction manual, if memory serves me. Either have that, or have some guides handy, or the Nintendo Powers that they originally covered those games in, because otherwise you're going to be stuck, and your brain is going to be hurting. You're going to have a headache that's going to be all day. It's going to have one of those, you know, those nasty-ass all-day headaches. Jesus, Lord have mercy. It sucks. I do not like the game. So, but there's one last game we got to cover in this video that I hate even worse. Okay, I legitimately actually hate this game. Not like, you know, Castlevania 2, I get why it's popular, how it's fine, how it's good. Awesome. I mean, you know, I have, like I said, I have my feelings towards it. I know what it's like, but at the same time, this game I legitimately don't like. And it's the first time it's been released in U.S. shores. Talking about I Am Kid Dracula, or Kid Dracula for short. This game, it starts off simple and fun and has this cute satire outlook of, you know, the Dark Lord Dracula when he's a kid and going off on adventures and killing bosses and getting money and making the monsters follow him because he's more powerful than thou, and it's a cool little thing, right? No, but then you get to the part where you have to be so, like, direct with your jumping that if you do not, you will fall to your death. And there's plenty of parts in this game that have that. There's a part where you're on a roller coaster, and when you're on that motherfucker, if you fuck up once, you go down. You die. There's no fucking way to get past that without either playing the game a little bit and trying to figure out, you know, what plans you have to make in terms of, like, precision jumping and shit. But this game has some of the worst jumping cheap deaths I've seen in any Castlevania game up to date. Now, I like Kid Dracula on the Game Boy. That was actually good. To me, that felt like the more refined game. The jumping worked in that game. It wasn't, you didn't have to be precise. With Kid Dracula, it's like you have to be precise in your jumping. And if you're not, you're fucked. And not only that, a lot of the times when there's enemies on the side, at the other side of a platform when you have to jump, there's a motherfucker right there, and if you don't kill him with one of your special powers, you're not going to make that jump, because he's going to hit you, you're going to fall back, and then you're going to fall down. And then there's another problem I have with this game. When you get hit, if you're anywhere near the vicinity of that enemy, you're going to get hit again. And again. Sometimes you'll get all your fucking life taken on one enemy, because the way your trajectory works when you get hit. It's ridiculous. A lot of games have, you know, recovery damage, I believe it's called. I think that's the name of it, recovery damage. This game doesn't have that. It's for like maybe a second. Maybe a second, but it's not enough, because if you're still in the vicinity of a projectile or an enemy, you're done. Game over. Or you're dead. But later in the game, like I said, there's this part where you gotta jump these fucking... I did this on a stream. You have to jump these on this fucking tube, and you gotta jump the fucking parts over and over and over, and you gotta, like, remember it all. And you also gotta attack enemies at the same time. If you don't, you're gonna fall to your death. And if you have to... I mean, thankfully, this is the only part... That part is just the entire stage, which I'm happy for. And it doesn't go on for too long once you figure it all out. But still, like I said, the jumping problem where you have to be precise with your jumping, like perfect, like pixel perfect, this is where it really plays a key role. To the point where it's no longer fun, it's just frustrating and the fun is gone. You know, I was happy to do it for the recording of this video. So I did make it. But there's still 2 more stages to go. I wasn't aware of this until after. So, Kid Dracula is definitely a game. I'm glad it's over here. I'm glad Americans get a chance to play it. You know, the white knights, do-gooders, and SJWs of the gaming world that, you know, don't want to, you know, do whatever means necessary to get their hands on the title. Like, oh, support the company. Yeah, and yeah, look what they're doing to you guys. You guys are now the fucking play testers and shit now. And it's like, we're getting screwed just for being their consumers. Konami's perfect example of that, but that's a video for an entirely different time, or a stream when we all have conversations and whatnot. So that's my least favorite 4 games on this collection. I mean, I'm glad Kid Dracula's there for you guys to enjoy, but if it was my choice, fuck off, put in Rondo of Blood, or even put the Super NES version of Dracula X. Yeah, it's a poor port, but I honestly think it's better than Kid Dracula. You know, but whatever. This is Konami. They're gonna do what the fuck they want, and that's all there is to it. And that's how it is with all gaming companies. They're just gonna do what they want, and if you like their product, you'll buy it. If you don't, you won't. I own all these games on cartridges, and I am very happy to own them all. Except for Kid Dracula. Because I don't have a Famicom converter. You know, but do I really want to go through all that trouble? Probably not. Because Famicom games are starting to go up in price as well. So what are my closing arguments for this? I don't have necessarily a closing argument. It's just, you know, I think that, like I said, these games that I mentioned, they're okay. They're alright. I don't hate them, like, to the point of just wanting to disown them, like, break the cartridge and shit. No. They have their problems. But there are some fan bases of these said games. And there was a time that I was a big fan of all these games, because it was Castlevania, and I loved Castlevania. But the older you get, and you take those glasses off that's known as nostalgia, you realize there are some things that are just wrong. But then again, sometimes you find games in the retro space that you never did play before, and they actually turn out to be great games. And hopefully I can touch base on those at some point. Anyways, I am Foreverretro 82. Stay tuned for part 2. Stream is this Friday of Blaster Master Zero, and I hope you enjoy that. And part 2 of this may be later than expected because depending on what's going on in my life at that time. I got a lot of shit going on right now, guys, and I apologize, but I will try. July, though, is my break, so I am going to take my break from this channel and from YouTube and probably net for a little while just to do the things that I have not done in a while, because I've been busy since April and I need a break from life, if you know what I mean. But I hope you all enjoyed this video for what it's worth. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching my video. I just want to take a moment to thank my Patreons for supporting me on this channel. And if you'd like to support me as well, look at the links in the description. Throw me a couple bucks and I'll put your name up here with these fine people. Otherwise, have yourself a wonderful day. Take good care of yourselves. Keep loving, keep gaming, keep it retro. Have a good one.